this whole nightmare onto your child. And as long as you disrespect him and as long as you disrespect her, then Josiah is gonna pay for it. Now you wanna roll your eyes, you wanna go home, sit your butt down somewhere and think about what I said. Cause I'm telling you right now, I am furious.
You called my premature daughter ugly.
I did. She looked funny. She didn't look like her.
3 months early,
Listen.
3 months early. And look at my daughter. That is the spitting image of your son. It doesn't hurt me. It's gonna hurt that child.
So Mr. Kidd has come to the courtroom and is saying that Miss Rawlings manipulated him into thinking he was the father of Nathaniel until another guy came into the picture. He wanted confirmation of what he knows all along, that he is the real father. And Miss Rawlings says Mr. Kidd told her he couldn't even have kids, so he's lying.
Mr. Kidd, you say Ms. Rawlings is a manipulative user who convinced you that you were the father of her son, Nathaniel, then changed her mind when someone better came along. You and your mother say Ms. Rawlings' mind games have wreaked emotional havoc on your family, and you are 100% positive you are her son's father.
So wow, let's begin with the fact that both Mr. Kidd and his mother are fully convinced that Miss Rawlings is a manipulator, and getting a new man made her change her tune really quick. Yet Miss Rawlings says he can't even have kids. Wow, this one will be interesting, but let's see what really happened here, because for now, both sides are confusing me.
When this first started off, she came to me and told me that he was mine. She was sending me letters when I was gone.
And so you were away when she found out she was pregnant?
I was away about a month after. I went away a month after she found out she was pregnant.
Okay, so let me get this straight. Miss Rawlings told Mr. Kidd Nathaniel was fully his baby, but Miss Rawlings is saying that another woman was in the picture? I'm so confused here, and I know even Judge Lawrence is confused with these young kids and their weird relationship. What I want to know is how these two got to the point of having a kid together in the first place. Let's see what happens.
What was your relationship with this man like?
We were in a serious relationship, and I was actually at some point, once I left from being around Mr. Kidd, that I was actually staying with him.
So for now, it looks like both were cheating, and Miss Rawlings was involved with some guy named Kevin too. Having kids at such a young age is bound to create a mess like this, and these two have more relationships than I can count. But let's see what happens next, because some things are not adding up for me right now.
Miss Rawlings, that he was Nathaniel's biological father?
No, ma'am.
You never told him that?
No, ma'am.
You just told him you were pregnant, and then somehow he assumed he was the father?
When I found out I was pregnant, Mr. Kidd told me himself that he had some type of rare form blood disease and that me and his child would die.
Oh no! So Mr. Kidd was saying all along he couldn't even have kids, so why is he saying he can now? Something is off here, but Mr. Kidd's mother is trying to clear up the situation, and her explanation is making sense to me. But I still don't know why Mr. Kidd is trying to claim this kid as his then. Let's see what he has to say for himself.
Hold on, no, why am I just now hearing about this? So I contacted his friend who gave me Miss Rawlings' number. I called her and we talked for a couple weeks, and I asked if I could see the baby, and she said yes.
What? So Mr. Kidd's mom knew instantly that this kid was his because he looked exactly like her own son. I think a grandma would have good instincts with her grandkids, right? And I'm gonna be honest, they look a lot alike, and the memories she has of meeting her grandkid for the first time are so sweet. You can tell she knows it is her son's kid. Time to hear more from these people.
Miss Rawlings, you began to let Ms. Jenkins have visitation with the baby.
Me being me as a mother, and I wasn't able to grow up with my father. If Mr. Kidd can't see the moments that he's missing, at least his mom will be able to have them, and his family has some stories to tell.
Finally, Judge Lawrence is asking the right questions, because I wanted to know the real tea. Something about Miss Rawlings' story really isn't adding up at all, because why was she okay with Mr. Kidd being the dad at first, but now says Kevin is the dad? Kevin wanting a pregnancy test isn't exactly proof that he is the father. So let's see how Judge Lawrence deals with this.
It's a manipulation tactic.
It was, as long as you were giving her what she wanted and needed at the time, it was okay. I've never one time been told I wasn't the grandmother. She did not ever say that she doubted full-heartedly that Kevin was the father. She said it's a possibility between this one guy.
Wait, hold on. This completely blew me away. And you can tell even Judge Lawrence can't can't believe her ears. I think everyone in the court is on Mr. Kidd and his mom's side at this point. Why was the baby in the custody of Mr. Kidd and his mom if they aren't even family? This is a crucial detail, and I want to see how this goes.
Video chats every day. We speak every day. We text every day.
Miss Jenkins, you said you had the baby for a while. What do you mean by that?
She was going through a situation and got kicked out of where she lived because her choice of men are not just the greatest, I guess, in the world. He wasn't safe. She wasn't safe. She was trying to get her life together.
Thank you, Judge, for clearing this whole situation up perfectly. I understand where Miss Rawlings is coming from. She is just a young woman in a bad situation, and it looks like Mr. Kidd's medical condition is serious, so could it be that he isn't the father? I think they've taken care of the kids so much at this point it shouldn't even matter. But let's hear what details are being uncovered.
Temporary physical custody of my son.
Because of the fact that once I told my stepmom, I came to the decision where when I lost the job because I didn't have a babysitter, and I wanted that job, so in order for me to be able to get on my feet, because I was also planning to go back to school.
Wow, Dr. Gator is clearing up so much stuff, so it could be possible for Mr. Kidd to have a child. His condition can be treated, and if he did have it looked at, that means Nathaniel could be Mr. Kidd's child. This makes a lot of sense, and honestly, I hope he is so that Kidd doesn't lose his entire family. But I want to hear Miss Rawlings' opinion first.
Called upon one of our experts, Dr. Jamila Gator. Jerome, will you please escort Dr. Gator into the courtroom? I'd like to ask her a couple questions.
Hey, doctor. Can I have you go up to the witness stand?
Hi, Dr. Gator.
Hi.
Thank you so much for joining us today. We are here discussing the paternity of baby Nathaniel.
Guys, I can't believe this. It's understandable that Mr. Kidd doesn't want to take care of a child that isn't biologically his, but it's so devastating. Part of me really hopes Nathaniel is his kid because the alternative is just too sad. But we still have the results to watch out for, so things might work out. Fingers crossed. So let's find out if he is the father or not.
Mr. Kidd, you are the father. You are the father.
Thank you.
And at least even the fact that he said that he would have stood up, that was what I was still going for, period.
Well, at least Miss Rawlings is taking the news in stride, and I guess this acceptance of being the father was what she was looking for. But boy, am I glad that Mr. Kidd is the father. His mother and him clearly care about this kid, so they should be the ones to be in his life, right? Personally, I think this was a happy ending and a good thing for everybody involved.
And that I knew he's a good man at heart and he has a good heart. And knowing that me and him could be on some type of page, that my child will have his biological mother and father.
Go hug her.
And he has a family, something that I really didn't have.
Hey, you do now. You got a big family now.
So this really is a happy ending after all, and all because Judge Lauren made these people face the truth. These two are really young, and honestly having each other as a support system is the best possible decision. Plus, Mr. Kidd's mom has a good head on her shoulders, so who knows? Maybe things will work out well for them all.
Come here, my baby. I told you from jump I loved you. We got this.
Mr. Lewis comes to court today to end the 44-year-old mystery and prove the man he's always known to be his father is indeed his father. While on the other hand, Mr. McAllister denies all of the claims, saying he is not the father.
And the reason why I was doubtful is because I heard maybe 3 or 4 different versions of who the dad was, and that put doubt in my mind. And I would just like to know before I leave here what the actual truth is.
So, Mr. McAllister, can you tell the court what was the nature of your relationship with Mr. Lewis's mother?
Wait, did Mr. McAllister say he might know who the father is? So after 44 years, he never thought to bring this up? We need answers, man. But before we start judging, let's hear his side of the story.
Never talked to her from that point on.
So what did you hear about the relationship, Mr. Lewis?
Well, my mom, because the type of woman she was, she didn't want to allow the turmoil from that affair interfere with my life. But as a woman, we had to move on.
What did she say specifically?
Okay, so let's get this straight. Mr. McAllister admitted to hooking up with Mr. Lewis's mother. However, he also stated that he's heard multiple stories about who the father is. This seems to be all over the place. Only the DNA results will tell us the truth. But first, let's see what Mr. Lewis has heard.
I also heard that it could have been my first cousin, Michael. And Unfortunately, I don't know. I also heard that, as I said, that a family member told me there was someone from the location, the city that I stayed in. And then I also heard from the mom that he died. So those are 4 different versions. So
Wait a minute. So the mother told him Mr. Lewis's dad is dead. I wasn't expecting that at all. So how could he even be the father? But it gets even more complicated. There are 3 other stories he's heard about who the real father could be.
As I look at the court papers, I see that Mr. Lewis's full name is Jermaine Michael Lewis.
I never even looked at that like that.
And Michael is your cousin's first name.
That is correct.
Well, at least he's been trying to figure out who the real father is, and all the stories he's heard say he's not the dad. It's good to hear he at least wants to get to the bottom of this and has good morals. But one moment, Judge Lauren discovered something strange.
I'm sure there was opportunities that she let him know. That's why when she told him, and I'm not sure if she did say that, but I can see my mother, if she did say he was dead, it was to protect me because we had already moved. Things were, you know what I'm saying? When he didn't show up and do what he was supposed to do, and she knew that, she had to move forward. Single mother, you know what I'm saying? She had to do what she had to do.
Wow, so he's possibly named after Mr. McAllister's cousin. Truth bomb after truth bomb is being dropped. But is it possible these stories are made up? Let's find out what Mr. Lewis has to say about these accusations.
When I finally found out about that there was a possibility here, I reached out to him and I told him I was gonna be coming to Los Angeles and I would like to meet him. Me and my ex-wife was going on vacation and
How old was Jermaine then?
he was 16 at the time.
Okay.
And we met and everything, and
We all know how hard it is being a single mother, and it's true maybe she wanted to protect her kid, but Mr. McAllister seems like a stand-up guy who would have been there for his child. And apparently, Mr. McAllister even tried to reach out when he found out he could potentially be the father.
So at the point when his mother said his father's passed away, you move on.
Right.
10 years later, someone you're dating and someone you trust, someone you feel like
Yes,
wouldn't
Your Honor.
lie to you, says,
Your Honor.
there's a young man saying you're his father.
Yes, Your Honor.
So then you revisit this issue that you had put to bed for 10 years because you thought the door was closed.
however, directly to the son this time.
So they met when Mr. Lewis was 16 years old. So 28 years later, why are they here in court? Honestly, I am completely lost. New stories keep showing up, new twists and turns. So Judge Lauren, can you please break everything down for us?
My brother's name is something Jermaine something, his son. So why would he name his son, middle name Jermaine, my name, if he didn't know?
I'd like to hear from your witness. Please stand, ma'am.
Now it's starting to all add up. The mother pushed him away by saying Mr. Lewis's dad wasn't him and he was dead. And then people started telling him he could actually be the father. So he contacted him directly. Poor guy. Seems like all he wants is answers too. But could this all just be an act Mr. McAllister is putting on?
I was very young and Mr. Lewis was in town visiting, and I remember my father telling me that it was a cousin that was visiting initially. Later, after Mr. Lewis left and went back to LA, my father sat me down and told me that.
And another truth bomb is dropped. Could it be Mr. McAllister knew all along? Well, seems like we're going to be getting some answers soon. The first witness is coming to the podium, and it is none other than Mr. Lewis's sister, who is also Mr. McAllister's daughter.
Actually, Your Honor, in the beginning, when it was told to me after I got with Jermaine and he said I was the father, I accepted it. I just took ownership of it because I knew I had been with his mom one time. However, the rumors that was told to me by the mom never saying anything to me, and Jermaine is correct.
Wow. So Mr. McAllister even told his daughter that Mr. Lewis was his son as well. So why is he trying to deny the fact that he's his son here in court? I wonder what excuse he'll come up with this time.
Mr. McAllister, you are the father.
Either he is just the most amazing guy ever, or he's a really good liar. I think we need to see some DNA results to get to the bottom of this. It's time to end this mystery of 44 years and find out if Mr. McAllister is the father or not the father.
What are you feeling in this moment, sir?
I feel grateful and gratitude that now I know the truth. If I had known he was my son, a fleet of elephants wouldn't have been able to keep me away from him.
Wow, so he missed all of that time with his son because the mother would never be upfront and tell him the truth. What a sad story, Mr. McAllister. Do you have any final words?
What do you feel, Mr. Lewis? Can you tell your dad?
I mean, it's I'm willing to do, whatever it takes. We can definitely try to make it work, but I mean, I'm a different person because of my situation, you know,
Absolutely.
what I've been through. So, and I can't apologize for that, you know, for what I've been through.
Oh, you have no, as far as I'm concerned, you have no apology. You were the innocent person. There's nothing for you to apologize to.
Right.
Hannon Falcon just came to court and claimed that David Watkins is her biological father, but he's refusing, saying he doesn't even know her mother, even after she showed him a picture. And now, there's another twist. He changed his name to David Dorsey. Wow, what's going to happen next?
Miss Hannon, you grew up believing one man was your father until the age of 13 when he said, "I am not your daddy." Your mother then told you on her deathbed that another man, the defendant David Dorsey, is your biological father. You are here to prove paternity and gain closure, and you have never spoken to.
Hannon is meeting her potential father for the very first time today, all because of a heartbreaking revelation from her mother's deathbed. I can't even imagine the emotional roller coaster she's on right now. It's gut-wrenching.
So, Miss Hannon, you initially believed another man was your father.
Yes, ma'am.
Please explain it to the court.
Well, I believe David Dorsey is my biological father, but I grew up with my grandparents and my mom. Like you said, I was known for a man named Kimball to be my dad. I called him one day for the daddy-daughter dance, and instead of his response being, "Yes, I'll be there," it was, "Your mother's still lying to you."
The pain in her eyes is so real to me. The audience became highly emotional as a result. When she discovered that Kimball is not her biological father, everything in her world fell apart. That certainly is shocking. We all feel so sorry for her at this moment.
I thought I picked the right one for you, but David Dorsey is really your biological father.
Yes, ma'am.
Wow.
After my mom's passing, I moved away. My grandmother got sick, so I came back. I was actually at work, walking down the hall, and she was calling me Melanie.
I'm really confused. Who is the true father of Hannon? Hannon seemed to be totally disoriented. What is going on with her? And now Melanie Dorsey appears. Wait, is that her sister? Amazing. The relationships are beginning to take shape. What comes next? Let's see.
Miss Hannon, what have you been told about your mother's relationship with Mr. Dorsey?
From our conversations that we used to have, is like they talked, like they weren't in a relationship, I guess. Like they talked here and there. I knew that he worked at a fast food restaurant. He was a manager at a fast food restaurant from her, and like I said, they just, I guess, you know, talked, mingled here and there type of
Mr.
work.
Dorsey, were you a manager at a fast food restaurant?
No, ma'am, but I worked at a fast food restaurant.
Wait, I'm still not convinced that Dorsey is the father, but what Hannon's godmother is saying is convincing enough. I think the severity of the statement and the depth of the details means that we are getting closer to the truth. The details cannot be made up, correct?
Mr. Dorsey, I have seen him come to the job to bring her mom lunch. Her mom would talk about her baby daddy being David. He still looks the same, but he had just got a little heavier.
Your Honor,
You don't remember any of
Your
this?
Honor, I've never had sex with this woman.
Shock after shock. What was that we just heard? Does somebody usually change their name? The judge is expressing how unusual the case is. Everything about him is so complex that both the audience and I are 50% certain that he is Hannon's biological father.
That's your dad.
Oh, wait,
But it
this
was
is David
Watkins.
Dorsey. You said David Watkins.
It was a David
My name
Watkins.
used to be David Watkins. I was adopted, and he changed my name to Watkins, and then when I got grown, I changed my name back to my dad's name.
So now it's getting even more closely connected to you.
How could somebody be that rigid? Why won't he accept Hannon as his daughter straight away? This is an extremely difficult problem. Mr. Dorsey admits that Hannon looks like him, but he continues to deny it. What's wrong with him?
You know, I don't mean to disrespect my dad, but my dad was a Rolling Stone, okay? So he was the man, and like, he was very known on the North Side for being David Watkins, you know, the slayer of women.
Whoa, that spark I just sensed is real, and I can now definitely identify her as her sister. Zero doubts. Not only that, but she also displays an alternative side of their father, the ladies' man. Oh my. Since no one will believe any of Mr. Dorsey's TED Talks, I'm just curious what he has to say in response to this.
It's just me and my 3 kids. So
I love you. Okay, stop, just don't cry. Don't cry, it's gonna be okay, because like I told you before, you are my sister.
All right, let's get straight to it. Hannon is desperate to know if Mr. Dorsey is her father. She's visibly torn, but I can see the sisters are very sure. No matter the result, they'll stand by each other. The suspense is killing us.
And so you both submitted childhood photos to the court.
Yeah.
And I'd like to look at those. When you look at it, do you see a resemblance? How about you, Mr. Dorsey?
I see a resemblance.
You do.
Yes, I do.
I have to wonder, why did Mr. Dorsey come here if he was 100% sure he had no other daughter, and now he's getting emotional talking about Hannon? What's going on?
That's all I know, and that's all I care about.
And I think it's important to note that Miss Hannon is standing there because she does want to know where she came from. And for those of us who do know who our father is, we've had that all of our lives.
We're reaching the climax, and tears are flowing. It looks like we're headed for a happy ending. The bond between the sisters is heartwarming. Their love for each other is just beautiful to witness.
You know, don't be sorry. You are my sister. That doesn't matter to me.
No, I'm not your daughter-in-law. Can you still just be my dad?
Fingers crossed. The results are in, you are not the father. What a crushing blow. Why am I crying? I guess I'm not the only one. Everyone is emotional, but hold on. This is still a happy ending. The love and connections they've built are beyond anything DNA can define. What a roller coaster.
He ain't got no choice.
Number 3.
It has been determined by this court. Okay? Biology creates one family for us, right? But love and connection creates a family with beautiful, unbreakable bonds as well.
I'm stunned. Ms. Lusk and her mother are convinced that the late Desmond Page is the father of her 3-year-old daughter, Samari. But Desmond's mother, Ms. Page, vehemently denies even knowing Ms. Lusk and insists her son was in a committed relationship with another woman. How can their stories be so different? This is going to be gripping.
Ms. Lusk, you and your mother say you have no doubt whatsoever when it comes to knowing who your 3-year-old daughter, Samari's biological father is.
Yes, Your Honor.
I can feel the sympathy in the room after listening to the struggles of a single mom. Apart from everything else, is it accurate to say that Ms. Page's son had a romantic involvement with another woman? We certainly have a long way to go.
I have 2 jobs.
Let's get to
I have 2 jobs. Going back to college in August. You're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. But you should be on my side, if anybody, because you've been there.
Miss
My daughter's
Lusk,
beautiful.
Miss Lusk, calm down.
Wait! Ms. Page drops a bombshell. She accuses Ms. Lusk of being after the $50,000 insurance money. Wow. Whispers are flying around the room. This accusation just added a whole new level of drama.
It's not my son's
You
baby.
never posted
I know
it on
anything
Facebook.
about
Miss Lusk.
Knew nothing about her.
You said you have an insurance policy.
Yes, Your Honor.
Since the insurance situation is taking a different turn, I'm still neutral. I now want to know why she is here. Since the man has already passed away, it's possible that she is pursuing financial gain.
Only stayed a few blocks from my school. And during certain periods, whether it was gym or my lunch period, I would go, I would walk. He would meet me halfway.
Pause for a moment. What is the purpose of that investigation? I believe that Ms. Page secretly doubted Ms. Lusk's honesty because there's no reason for her to visit the school to find out whether Ms. Lusk is truly pregnant. Common sense?
How did you get the news that she potentially was pregnant?
Well, I'm thinking that someone told me via Facebook or something like that.
No, ma'am.
All right. Ms. Page's attitude bothers me. It's just not impressive at all to be proud of your son while avoiding consequences of their conduct. Though it appears like complete chaos, we must investigate further to learn the truth.
Because she'll have me blocked or she'll have it where I can't post comments. And I don't slander her on my Facebook. Not once have I ever said anything bad about this woman.
The expression on Judge Laurenen's face is obvious. We are getting really frustrated with this ongoing dispute, but I have no idea what the outcome could be. This is not a juicy conversation that the audience should be enjoying.
Did you allow Ms. Page the opportunity to see her? Did you say, the baby's here now, if you'd like to?
Because prior to that, we were already where she was on Facebook saying, you need to have your daughter fine.
The fact that they were all in contact with one another and never discovered the truth is one really puzzling aspect of this situation. Wow. Well, there's more to the story. Despite Ms. Page's lack of acceptance of Samari, why is she sharing photos of herself with her on Facebook?
So you've never had the opportunity to come by and spend
she
time
held
with
my
her?
daughter at that party. She had the opportunity, yes ma'am.
Yes, Miss Lusk, I held her and I got a picture taken of someone want to see.
All right, let's discuss the facts. I think the reason both parties are angry is because the person they are talking about has passed away, which has made them both feel upset. Let's see what happens.
Miss Page is grieving. She doesn't even have a person to review these facts with. let's be clear. She can't say to her son, Desmond, I need to talk to you about this, this, and this.
We should take a moment to calm down and carefully listen to each of them individually, as social media is not going to provide an answer. I have a strange feeling that the DNA result will be positive after looking at the picture.
An opportunity to calm down and to see that there are two sides to this story. There really is. Now, the animosity you all have built up, that is because you've handled the situation.
Indeed, it is true that there are always two sides to any story, but to be quite honest, I don't think Ms. Page's side of the story has much substance, because all she did was make accusations.
I didn't go to his funeral. I couldn't, because how can I show my face as, like, how can I even go? I can't even support somebody.
I didn't have time to grieve. I didn't have time to grieve
either. We haven't
the day
either.
after my son was killed, his first daughter was born. I
understand.
As stated, I was aware that this feeling of rage and irritation is a sign of grief. However, this is going too far. How could one make fun of a little girl, not to mention calling her ugly? I don't know what to say. This is just too dramatic.
Why is that? Because each year,
give her a chance to respond.
It's too much drama.
And it's too much for me as well, because you caused the drama, Miss Page.
I find it hard to comprehend the source of this hatred, especially directed towards a little girl. Even if the DNA findings confirm that she is her granddaughter, it appears that she will not accept her because she obviously has no desire in this relationship.
If that is your truth, I accept that. But what I will not accept is you all operating as if this drama has to exist.
Sincerely speaking, I was furious after hearing Ms. Page's "I don't know" comment. Right now, all we really need to know is the truth. Thus, I'm eager for the judge to share the DNA test findings.
The probability of relatedness between Ms. Page and Samari Page is 99.96%.
Let us allow this moment of truth to get some air. That's right. The results showed a 99.96% possibility of relatedness. The reaction has been incredible, and everyone, including myself, is relieved.
Every child needs their parents. And when unfortunate situations arise like this, where life is cut short, all we have left for this child to understand truly who her father was.
All right, while I'm glad the young child at least knows who her father is, I'm also sad that all she can hear are his memories because he is no longer among us. I truly wanted to clap for the judge since she handled this case so brilliantly.
He knows it all because I teach him that. Because that's how I keep her spirit alive. He never laid eyes on her. She's never laid eyes on him except from the heavens.